Why does it do that? Why does it turn on? My mic is on, but the settings switch the mic. Do I have to do all that again? Or could you guys read my mind? Do I have to do that all again, or do you guys read my mind? You guys want to actually hear me give my take, or do you want to just watch this mime over here? Do it again. Please go over it again. Well, all I was stating, if you really were following, you could see me maybe measure some stuff out here. I'm just saying that these moves were about 3.6, 3.7, 3.3, and now we're at 3.3 again. So we're just aware, and I think you want the market to hold up like this. I don't think you want it to extend. The big point here was a pullback, right? We're leaving the runners in case we do squeeze. But overall, a 30-minute pullback would be a fantastic thing. Retest that 5 to break through this resistance. That would be fantastic for today. We don't see those reversal signals from VIX very well. We do have maybe some on short time frames, and we're kind of at the line in the sand. But overall, it's just these moves got overexcited, right? And this move right here, bam, big reaction right to a weekly expected move, and we fall off dramatically. Boom, big reaction, two big gaps, and then we get that pulled down. So what I want to do is create structure on the way up this time. I really want to create structure on the way up this time. I think that would be very, very good as the SPY are running into a weekly expected move. I think it would be fantastic. Now that's pretty much the take. Like, that's honestly pretty much the take. But if this thing stays curled up, hey, 597.75. But just look where that 5 is and look where your daily expected move is. I mean, look at the Qs. Look where that 5 is. Look where that daily expected move is. It just looks juicy, and I think that would be good. And then maybe you could build up and do something like this. That would be fantastic to me. So it's not like I didn't go as in-depth as I wanted to, but it's just like, hey, this is a good move. This is great. We caught the move. Now let's pay attention to how stocks like to behave. If we want to squeeze, hey, that might end up just not turning down. But if this turns down, I'm actually going to manage my risk. I'm going to get out of my plays as they're positive and then look, because bad things have happened when we're up by more than 3%. We're up by more than 3%. Okay, so if this curls down, I don't want to fall through the floor like this time, like this time, like this time over here. So what I'm going to do is just say, okay, I'll take my profit. And if you prove to me that that 5 can hold as support and we turn back up, hey, I might be right back in the move. That's kind of my plan for today, but I'm still leaving the runners at this moment. So you probably want to check on Amazon as well. One thing to point out here is if you go into these little charts, you're starting to see a little bit of weakness here. Now, it's not very good, right? I'm not thinking about shorting in this environment now. We are back above the 5, guys. Like, this is a big deal, but we can go down here. We can even go and fill that gap before we actually want to head higher, right? You see this starting to cross through. You see this cross. Ooh, that might be where I manage some risk. So I might preemptively manage that risk because I like my profits in this area. And then if I get the next opportunity, that'd be fantastic. If I see a daily curl up, hey, I can still take that on a daily chart as long as the 2 hour is not looking super overbought. But from this area where I like to take profits still might be a weekly expected move, which is a little bit higher up for Amazon. And that's what's funny to me is a lot of these big stocks aren't at weekly expected. You know, it was Tesla. Tesla was at a weekly expected move. Tesla was outside of a weekly expected move, and that's the one really dropping by 2%. So that's why we pay attention to weekly expected moves. I noticed DJT did see some good things. Nice little try for the breakout. We'll see what happens with that going forward. SoFi still kicking. This is what I'm talking about. Doesn't this look tired? Doesn't that look tired? It can keep going, that's right, but wouldn't this just be a nice thing? Go retest in this area. Go retest in this area real quick. Go retest the 5, maybe dip down a little bit lower, right? Test that breakout from the gap. Test this gap area here. I think those things would be fantastic for setups, because if this thing keeps going and going and going, my runners will like it. My runners will definitely like it, right? But it's just I need to be paying attention to how stocks like to move. And if this wants to be a healthy move going forward, hey, we might see that curl down and curl back up. And we do notice that the data this morning coming out at 0.4, was it 0.4? Retail sales coming out at 0.4. The previous was revised to 0.8, so that's kind of a big deal. And that's what we're kind of reading into. It's kind of, and this is probably the most important thing of what I said when I was being a mime a second ago. was, okay, one, that reading should say, hey, retail sales is coming down. That should be pretty good for the yields. And we see that reaction right away with the data, but we're noticing it start to climb. So very interesting there. The dollar should like that number, right? But we see the revision, so I don't know if that's what people are reading into. As of right now, you have the dollar positive and the market positive at the same time. We'll read into the PCC in a moment. I'm just talking about the reactions we're seeing and the two things that are really dictating where this market goes. And I believe that's a 10-year yield in the dollar right now. Right? So we're paying attention to the fact that are buyers going to like the data because it means, hey, the 10-year yield can start to drop a little bit more and like that data? And then is the 10-year actually going to drop? And then the other part is, do sellers step in because they see the data as, yes, that is going to be a little bit good for the 10-year yield to come down maybe, but it also means weak economic growth, right? Technically, retail sales, if it is coming down that drastically, it would say the consumer might be a little bit weaker now. And we know that credit card delinquencies are going insane, especially after Christmas. Like all of Christmas was put on the credit card this year, apparently, or in 2024, like a lot of it. Oh, no short Fridays. Hopefully that's going okay though. So yeah, and then also just a note, remember down here in the bottom right, we do have the daily expected moves are down there. So if we're looking at another chart, hey, you need the SPY and the Q's daily expected moves, we got those for you in the bottom right corner. SoFi will hit $20 eventually. I think eventually, right? That's the key word. Eventually. And it started to break through. I'm just like, wow, what a move. I was really paying attention to SoFi. I like it. Let's see here. But when do I need to back off the gas? And this is saying that today might be the day where this needs to retest something or pull down to retest the 5-day. But if I never see this thing curl back down, then it's just going to remain positive. That's great. Like if I don't see this, close below this 9, below this 20 on this 30-minute chart, then I'm just sitting there going, cool, this is great. AMC did see some positivity. Holding up pretty well as of right now. Still aware that the 30-minute is down, is right by the center line. So if we want to make some kind of base, that would be nice. Just remember that 292, 291, I guess, would be gap fill. So I think that would be pretty good for it. GME right out the gate. Ooh, trying to make some kind of floor here with these 3 touches. Seeing some little diverses pop up, but you're kind of nervous that this is just a really weak little thing to shoot you down a little bit lower. Remember that the daily signal did confirm here. Stop listening to your GME people that say tomorrow's the day every day and just pay attention to signals and you will be much better off. Where is the daily as of right now? It's positive, so we should be looking for some ground to be gained here. That would be a good thing for GME, but as it stands right now, divergence at the high saying this trend can reverse down. We can reverse down. We can test all the way back down to something like 22. We can go all the way back down to 20 in the month of January, and it would make sense. We got to talk honestly about these things, guys, and this was a 2-hour sell signal with a daily sell signal behind it. It confirmed, and that's bad. This is why I react with my option trades for GME. If I take an option trade for GME, I'm reacting if I see a sell signal. And then I just hold the stock. If I want to just hold it forever, that's the plan with that. But the main thing is, look at the SPY. Weekly expected move gets tagged. Fantastic. Fantastic move. I hope you guys are able to benefit from it. $500 million agreement. Okay, that could cause some different things to happen. Thanks for putting those moves at the bottom. Yeah, it's just so if we're clicking around, you could have them because we didn't have a video last night. So we can go look at these yields and see like what the heck's going on here. I mean, what the heck is going on here? That's technically an okay thing for yields. And we notice that we're still holding this little shelf here. So this will be interesting to see. As always, we do have weekly expected move for TLT. We do have weekly expected moves for it. We can see how the 30-minute could want to retrace to go test that 5. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then we get more data. Get more data. Where I'd really be watching out is towards 87, which is actually where you broke down from. I just kind of drew that line across. It's probably not it's kind of a downward line. So right in this area right there is probably where I'd pay attention. Just because you have a gap in there, you have the failure there, you have the failure here, you have the test here, test here. So I think that would be a good area for this to possibly back off a little bit. So we'll see what happens with it. Hey, thank you guys for, Richard, thank you so much for the $2 and telling me that I'm muted. Really do appreciate that. I was in the zone though. I don't think you guys realize how in the zone I was with that analysis, and you guys didn't hear any of it, and then you got the sloppy version right after. So I'm sorry for the sloppy seconds. Super chat at 449 for Adobe. I did note, I think you were asking about this a little bit yesterday or 2 days ago as well. Adobe refusing to cross down, and that's kind of a good thing, right? That's kind of a good thing. We're seeing that breakthrough. Now you're paying attention to what? Well, you're already hitting the next breakdown area, so 428.25. Hopefully you have a weekly expected move. Let's look at the 2-hour. 2-hour divergence is there. 2-hour divergence is here. So now, to feel comfortable with the trade, the 30-minute, if you see that thing go extremely positive, pretty comfortable with the trade, right? You can take profit as you go, but if this is curling up a daily chart, there you go. Daily chart is curling up, so this could be a daily trend move. So really where you're, or a daily counter, I guess you would say counter trend move, if you will, because this is dramatically going down. So what you're paying attention to is pretty obvious. You can see right here at the closing bar, probably right there, 438.26 is where I'd first watch out for something. But if you can see that break through there and then maybe retest it really quickly, you might end up in the upward direction to go test these levels. I think you're more likely to see something like this little block in here tested, right? That would be where gap resistance comes in. That would be where support was previously there. Support was previously in that area for a moment. You lost it, you gapped above it. So right in this area right here would be pretty good. That would be a solid move. It might take some time to get there. Look at that, it goes all the way, even drawing it almost straight up. Still takes about till February 7th. So what I'd be really looking for here is, hey, do we get 30-minute pullbacks or do we squeeze, really? Because I'm starting to see some little tiny things in here. I wish I had a weekly expected move because this is pretty good. Where did we start the week? January 14th, Monday at here. Yeah, that might be already at a weekly expected move. That's a pretty good gain. Yeah, 4.5%. So I would like to have a weekly expected move from it, but I really like this. You know, you can't say you hate that. That's pretty good. So I'm just liking the fact that the daily's curled up, and then I could, you know, take an option for 2 months out, target a monthly expected move, and then be happy. Things are turning red. Good. That's actually a good thing. We really want to find out if this is going to be a good move, and how you can easily find out about that is put it through some turmoil for a second. Get that to dip down to lower levels. Let's see the test of the 5. If we can do that, maybe even go lower, right? We talked about this area right here, 584.50, right in here. This is the gray area to retest. If you can retest that confidently and you see those buyers step in, you see a little break move or something like that, it can be pretty freaking solid. The Qs as well, a little bit deeper, I would say. Actually, maybe not. Maybe right on that daily expected move. Maybe right on that daily expected move there, because the 5 is actually holding up pretty well. But we want to just see, this could dip all the way down to fill the gap and really scare people out. As we see, look at this. This is what I was worried about. People dramatically towards the call side. The dollar is still technically positive while the market was positive, and now we're seeing that sell down. So that does lean me towards a bottom side daily expected move tag, but I don't necessarily have the best signals for that yet. All I have is one cross of the signal line on the RSI. Things canvas watermark. Oh, I need the watermark in the background. Yeah, I'll try to work on that. Wonder if I can practice on my other chart real quick. Yeah, the watermark's helpful where it just says it in the background a little bit, because it is hard to keep track. You kind of got to look at the top left. That's why I try to shout out the stock at the beginning when I talk. 1 billion shares of TLT to pump her up real quick. Well, the weird part is there's probably way more money than that you need in order to see that thing actually rocket up. At least in bonds across the board, right? This is just kind of one thing, but I guess for TLT it might work. Wonder what the volume was on this though, because I'm guessing pretty good. 52 million. So yeah, maybe a billion would definitely do it. I'll do it for you next time. How about that? My algo's thinking a test of 590 for the SPY. Well, 590 is a super important level. If you look at SPX, this is SPX. If you look at SPX, technically I should put this at 5,900 now. 5,900 is going to be very, very important. So that's just with the options data. So I believe it is, I'll double check, but I believe that's what I looked at this morning. Let's see, SPX 516. Yeah, 5,900 for the put wall there for the SPX. The SPY coming in at 590. So 590 is going to be a super important level for if we're going to see some kind of put wall, right? And then what we can do is, 590 is where the put wall is, but 587 is where we could get to with the daily expected move. But where is also the 5-day moving average is all the way at 585 and 90 right now. So we'll see if that thing can maybe catch up a little bit, and then we test around this area. But none of that has to happen. This hasn't even crossed yet. But it's just as that does, if that does, you'd be looking at 590 first, right in here. You'd be looking at 587 next, and then touching actually on the daily expected move. Justin, thank you so much. Look at Short Friday's Nike because I like this guy. There you go. Hey, Justin's got your back, all right? Short Fridays, Justin's got your back. Yeah, we can go look at Nike just so you know what we're looking at. Big drop down. Okay, this is great. So you're seeing a little bit of this, right? Okay, awesome. Did it violate anything serious? Well, you're starting to, right? This could really break down, right? This is a negative trend. That could really break down. So I don't necessarily want to be thinking buying right now, right? Right, this is crossing down in negative territory. What happens in negative territory? Bad things. Bad things. And this could be really bad. But what if that just turns down like this for a moment and turns right back up? Like that's the thing. Once you're really looking, you're like, okay, this had divergence all across. Maybe it needs to make that divergence in the near term. That's my risk. Okay, awesome. What about a 2 hour? 2 hour pretty deep here, looking for rejection divergence. If the 2 hour cross, we'd be a lot more worried. So you know what can make that 2 hour cross? A 30-minute crossing, okay? Once the 30-minute crosses, that means the 2 hours got a good shot to maybe cross, which means this could go down. So what you're looking for is, if I'm paying attention to this, I like the structure of this, I like the structure of this right now. Well, if we can hold all that and then turn back up, that might just be opportunity, right? It might just be another point to pay attention to if that can curl back up. But I'm telling you right now, if it doesn't make that divergence point and doesn't curl back up, then what's probably going to happen? Well, this 2 hour can cross and you can go deeper. Deeper and deeper. You can go deeper. That's just what happens, right? You can go get overbought or go get oversold for a second. So that's how I see it at this moment. I don't see it as like absolutely horrible at this moment. I just wouldn't be buying it at this moment, right? I'm not going to be buying on that moment. I'm going to be looking for that turnaround and then taking a position a little bit later on if that turnaround even happens. So it just means a little bit of patience might go a long way here. And you probably don't have to wait too long to know, hey, is this thing probably going to break down further? Or is this going to curl back up and give me that divergence point really close to the center line? Notice this is really close to the center line this time. So that tells me, hey, even a better shot, even a better setup. Okay, awesome. Now let me just pay attention to it, see if it's able to curl up, see if opportunity is there. And Short Friday says, thank you, Justin. So there you go. I really like Nike on the 20-year monthly chart, bounce off the 200-day at 64.51. That level is superb. Okay, let's look at that. 64.51. 64.51. Well, we're going to, yeah, you're right. We're going to have to zoom out on this. Let's look at weekly first. 64.51. And thank you so much for the $5. 64.51. Right in this area. Well, I actually kind of like that area too, and there's a very specific reason. I would probably pull that up to about 67. I'd probably pull that up to about 66 to 67, but overall, you're looking at a zone, right? You're marking off maybe the highest point of this, and then you're going like this, and then you're going like that right there. That's probably the best look. If you wanted to, you could probably include this little bit here because it's a big drop, so you can make a pretty big zone. Let's not make it, you know, red. That doesn't sound good. But for the most part, I think this area that you're paying attention to is good. Anywhere from about, you know, 60 to about 70 could hold up, right? And you're starting to make those reversals right in here. You notice the last zone we used really, really well to reject back down. That's fantastic there. That's good behavior for downside. But the reason that I really like this level, okay, let's talk about reasons here. Okay, this dictated, hey, we're at a top, but we're pretty consolidative throughout. You know, for a weekly chart, doesn't that look pretty good? I mean, for a weekly chart, that doesn't look too bad. It just means, hey, I got to be patient until this thing maybe bottoms out and gives me a series of higher lows. Hey, you get a series of higher lows. You even might have hidden divergence here. Hold on. Yeah, you even have a little hidden divergence there, which actually held real divergence there on the RSI, actually. And then you see this moment where you go and you break out, you retest, and you go again. That's fantastic behavior. That is breakout through the previous high. Awesome. You consolidated before too. That's great as well. Then you break to the upside. You come back down into this zone for the retest. Buyers step back in, and you see that stair step move up. When something really bad happens back in 2020, ooh, you flush. Where did you hold up? Well, right in this area. Okay, so it's probably pretty important. So you're starting to touch that area. So I think you're right in paying attention to that level. I would say the best level is probably going to be something like, it's probably going to be right in the middle of this, honestly, like 66.50, which actually lines up to this wick. So I'll say that wick right there looks pretty good. But we're not trying to find exact levels. We're just paying attention to, okay, now we know that support is here. And if this weekly can catch support at any time and turn up, ooh, what if that breaks to the upside? That'd be very interesting. I kind of like that. You have to realize, though, that this has been bad for a while. Okay, so just make sure we're paying attention to that. Options might be tricky with it. I dig it, though. I think you're paying attention to the right area. That was a perfect, honestly, like, what was it, 64.51? Pretty spot on. I'd say it's right within that range. All right, let's go look over at the market real quick. Apple dumping off a little bit. Remember, Apple needs to make higher lows and things like that. This is not a good sign for Apple. I don't like this sign for Apple too much. I would like it if we're able to turn up very quickly, because you can kind of see, hey, build up to there, left. You know, if this isn't it, maybe we're doing it now. Something over here to go higher. But right now you're crossing down. And you're really not too far away from that center line. You're a little far, so this can be a higher low. But we remember what we said about Apple. It's going to have to make higher lows or some kind of 2-hour divergence to really get us like, yeah, this is a strong base. So Apple, just one of the weaker ones that we pointed out. That's why I actually got rid of Apple and put more of it back into Amazon. But Apple, for the most part, it's just like, that's curling down, that's bad. All right, if it just means it's risky. It doesn't mean it can't turn right back up, but it just means, hey, for me to take calls while this 30 minutes curling down in an overall negative trend, it's not the best thing. So we were able to chop this high, so a higher low is definitely possible. How's your Amazon? I'm thinking about just getting out of that thing, man. I'm thinking about it. I really wanted to play it to the weekly expected move, right? I wanted to see that extension. But the more I look at the SPY, the more I look at the Qs, and the more I'm paying attention to how people got super, super bullish. Now they're actually flipping here. We're actually seeing this flip a little bit, which means maybe they're going to go to the bear side for a second. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I think Amazon is still good. I'm just aware that a 30-minute can pull back, and right now I just have runners. So when I have runners, by the way, when I have runners, and then I have to maybe get rid of those runners for a pullback, that's exactly what I do. I try to get rid of my runners if I can, right? If I can react and get rid of those runners, and then I'll apply all the money again right here, because why would I want to do that if we're going to see a pullback in here? I want to get a great position before this daily is able to cross up. right? I want my position to be as good as possible before the daily confirms up, because that could be the potential squeeze that's coming, right? So this would be great. I'm just saying this would be great. If it pulled back on the 30-minute, I manage risk. I'm able to make some profit in there. It curls down, curls back up. Ooh, we're liking it. It seems like a pullback would be healthy, but I would not be praying, hoping, betting for a pullback for Amazon. I want to talk really simply why. I wonder if someone could point it out real quick. I'll give you like 20 seconds to type why this would be a difficult thing to short, and it potentially has more upside than a lot of other stocks, even right now. And it's one very simple thing for a 30-minute chart. Super, super simple. Like why I'm not going to say short something right now, but Amazon is the example. Earnings next week? No, it has to do with charting. Versus on 30-minute? No, why do I think Amazon has a good chance to see more upside? It's positive, perfect. I mean, that's part of it, but it's positive. But how positive is it on my RSI? It's not even overbought. It's not even overbought. You look at a lot of these, look at this. Apple, not even overbought. Tesla's overbought, right? So what's happening there? Bad things. So why is Amazon not experiencing bad things? Well, it never had these touches to get overbought. So I'm just like, I'm not going to short this. I can manage my risk. But the fact that we're going to drop without even getting overbought is just very interesting to me. So it means I should be aware that can trail higher for a little bit. So that means shorting might be risky. That's all I'm getting at here. Because, yeah, Terry, your wife needs to spend more money at Amazon to make it go up for me. Gosh, she's hurting my options. I did see someone ask about, I think it was AVGO. Was it a secure opening? Getting your opinion. AVGO, yeah. AVGO, this one was tough. One, you have some weird stuff going on here. First of all, it's like I'm holding structure, but I keep seeing these weird moments. So when I see something like that, right, if something looks weird to me, I'm going to go, well, I don't really want to pay attention to that chart then. Let me just look at a 2-hour. Okay, what's the 2-hour doing? Okay, we're trying to kind of go up here. We're probably going to do something like this then. Right, I see this curl up. Okay, that means positivity. But just in case, let me do this. Let me just do this real quick, because that's probably where we need to break through. Right, and let me maybe take this low down here. Probably just take it with that right there. Probably get rid of that. I don't think that's really important there. That looked like a save. So most likely the area they want to keep is higher up than that. Okay, awesome. We look like a continuation triangle here. Right? And what just happened? The 2-hour turned up. The only problem was it was such a big move. It was such a big move that we almost got overbought within like a day just now. So what the 30-minute is saying is I'm overbought. Maybe I would like to scoop up before we break out. Maybe I would like to fail. So if the 2-hour crosses back down, that's going to be bad. But you look at your 30-minute positioning right now, it's pretty positive. Right? Pretty positive, a little bit more positive than this time over here when we were at these levels. So if we're going to curl down, I think that would be very good for AVGO to curl down for a moment, maybe even fill this gap, retest the 5, and then turn back up. I think that would be fantastic. But as of right now, the 2-hour is saying, hey, we're crossing up, right? It's saying, I'm trying to go positive. I'm trying to break through. You're just aware, hey, that's a pretty big move right out the gate, so it might need to reload in some way. The ultimate signal for this to make that upward move, to test these highs and possibly go make a new one. You might even have a measured move in here of some sort. I like to make my measured moves smaller. Well, you could see that breakout. Maybe you get all the way up towards like 270. Right? Notice that I always cut it short. I'm never going to take the maximum. I'm risk averse. I'm very aware of risk. So I'm going to take that I'm going to be like, oh, 270 is a hard number that people could be paying attention to. Then I can go look at, max pain, options data, and all that kind of stuff and see what's up at 270 and see if there's a call wall. So it's awesome. I think it looks good. I think the best opportunity would be, and the best behavior for this to last, is you're reacting to a great level, right? You can see this coming down. You can see that left almost. You can see this head. You make some kind of right shoulder in here, and you pretty much got a head and shoulders, and this is your neckline. That's just slanted, so it's harder to see. If you want to call it, hey, we're going up to the point where we could run into resistance and we get a handle. Okay, cool. Whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, you can use as many fancy words to describe structure as you want. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to, hey, does this break through, retest, and go higher? Does this break through and then the 2 hour crosses and it fails? Does the 2 hour cross and it fails right now? Crosses back down? Or the 2 hours crossed up? So the best thing for this stock to do if it wants to see bullishness, as it is right now, is a 30-minute pullback to retest the 5, and then you curl up and you see great structure. That's it. You can put as many names behind it. I could act all smart and tell you so many names. Oh, continuation triangle and all those. But also it's just, hey man, does it remain in a positive trend? Cool, it's probably going to be positive. You know, when we dig down into it. When you really think simply, hey, that's likely. As of right now, SPY dipping down just a little bit here. Hasn't even crossed over yet. So I'm going to be looking over at Amazon and going, See, I just want to be sure. Last time you crossed over, you had some kind of retest up here of the breakdown for a moment, and you weren't able to cross back up. So if this crosses down, we'll see if it's quickly able to cross back up so this doesn't cross, because if that does, then you're probably going directly to the 5. Good stuff. Nothing to be worried about just yet. We'll see. I think a pullback would be great, though. What up, Rapid? How you doing? SPY, what's the SPY daily? I have the daily and I have the daily expected moves down on the right side of the screen right now. So anytime we're clicking around, I'll have those moves right there for you for today. Oh shit, all right, nice. Yeah, Drew, I was trying to help people out because I couldn't put out a video last night. So I was trying to help some people out just by being like, all right, here you go. Let's just put these up for a second. QQQ to 500, that's pretty damn unlikely. The 2 hour here is curled up, so you'd need the 2 hour to confirm down, or maybe an hourly. You would need an hourly confirmation down here to get down towards 500. It's possible, and I'm never going to say anything's impossible. You don't have the best divergence in the world right here. It's kind of extended across with a blip in it, so we don't like that, right? We violated this divergence, so maybe we need to make another one. So I'm not going to say it's impossible. I think it's definitely possible, and that's why I'm talking very seriously about, hey, if this 30-minute crosses, something bad can happen. We're at the same percentage almost as this time, and something bad happened. So we're at like that same percentage right now. So I'm going to manage risk in case something bad happens, but I think we have the better opportunity to just curl up again. That's what I think going forward. But it's kind of like this. If this did shoot down to here, we'd be looking at data later on next week to see if that's able to build back over time. And then maybe we're able to do this, and then we see something on Wednesday or Tuesday. So that's just how I would like to move. But you see how much risk there is if just this 30-minute crosses here. And that's why I'm going to be out for a moment. And then if it just turns right back up, I'll be right back in. Maybe I can look at a 5-minute to get a little hint if the momentum is weak in here, down towards 511. Oh my goodness. Let's see what Nvidia's doing, by the way. Nvidia, another move up. This is actually good. You're going well positive, getting overbought. You're getting back in between these lines. Not a bad thing. Remember the divergence that was down here for the double bottom on just the RSI. We showed a 15-minute for that. But from this area, hey, if you shoot up to here, you're probably going to end up ping-ponging around in here again. That would be a great level to get to, though. That would be a great level to get to. I like to stay away from that type of talk for the most part, fair until find us, because it just doesn't help out my trading at all to know why the market is up today. The best reason that you can start to get in your head right now for why the market is up or why the market is down is just this. More people decided to sell today. Okay, the market's going to go down. Did more people decide to buy today? Hey, the market's going to go up. Read into that, then you can figure out why they're buying later. You're going to figure out why this is going up, whatever topic they decide to tell you in that mainstream media, they can tell you whatever. but we were saying that this was highly probable to go up just because of the structure, and then the next day CPI does it. And yeah, that's a little bit of luck with you, but there's always risk. There's always risk, and there's always reward. And if you look at this from where it was, what's bigger? Maybe your risk was just here. Maybe you kept a tight one, right? Maybe your risk is only this, 6%, or 0.6%. Oh my God, 6%, 0.7%. But what's the upside? What's the reward? 1.95. Even if you were just that daily expected move, right? Even if we just measured it like daily expected move, right? That was somewhere around right here. 163%. So that's where it makes sense. Right now, does it make sense for me to be jumping into a ton of calls? Well, what's the risk? What's the reward? Well, potentially the reward could be here, 0.8%. What's the risk? Like you want to think of like the worst risk to really tell yourself. The risk is probably this makes the most sense, 1.81. So what's bigger right now? The risk. So am I going to be taking new call positions here? Most likely not. Most likely I would be waiting to see what happens with the price action. Waiting to see what buyers and sellers do throughout the day. And then going, okay, I'll be paying attention to who wins. That's why I've been, if you noticed a lot of the time, my last few trades especially are buy at the end of the day, right? I wait for that end of the day. When I have taken those, it's been at the end of the day, and then it rips up and I start to take profit, rips up, take more profit, take all the profit on that one. This one here, it was buy at the end of the day, rips up to that daily expected move again, sees the 5 there, okay, take some profit, dips down, goes back up, take the play again. What is that? Right in here with the breakout, take it at the end of the day, upside. Weekly expected move came into play here. So I've been able to really just like buy at the end of the day at the times where it looks good, sell a little the next day, hold some, sell a little, sell all of it potentially the next day. This time we actually waited for the structure. So we're doing the same thing we did right here. Same thing we did right here, we're talking about right here. It's just you don't want to be a part of that. So we want to make sure to manage risk. And then if that turns back up, hey, that would be way different. Because if this would have turned up from here, what are you doing? You're breaking through. So it's a lot different if that would happen. So we're doing the same thing I was talking about over here with all my contract. I'm doing the same thing right here. Hell no, Bubblicious. That's just toxic masculinity right there. A 1 second chart. That's the most masculine thing I could think of. I know stock so well, I can trade a 1 second chart. I'm gonna make shit. I wonder if anyone that's traded a 1 second chart has ever made more than like 10% on a trade. The 1 second chart makes me want to sit down. Are you not sitting down at your computer right now? Oil, did you short? No. Oh my gosh, Ben, though. Oil is telling you something here, man. I was looking at this morning. This is insanely cool. Look at this. I mean, I know, but the divergence was formed there. Crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, but great. This is great. Because now, you know that 4 hour has divergence as well. You know the daily could turn down here. And if you look over at USO, you look at the 30-minute, look at that. This is telling you a 2 hour move to curl down would be likely. So I think you're going to see a retest of probably going to fill maybe even both of these gaps. You could see a move down to 80.52 from this, but it's overall very bullish. I don't see good, great reversal signals. I see some, but not great ones. So I don't think this is likely to happen. It can, right? Anything can happen. If this curls down, it never curls back up. It can get there to this gap fill here, but I think you got to watch for around 80.52. Yo, wait up, Ben. Thank you for pointing out oil. This is one of the coolest things I was looking at this morning. Bitcoin, to pay attention to that. I'm sure everyone's going, oh my gosh, this is awful. This is awful. I mean, the 5's right there. If the 2 hour even wants to go deeper, I'm down with that. Really, I wouldn't solidify any of these as a higher low yet, so hey, go make that higher low for me and turn back up. It's still very, very positive. I am not bearish really on Bitcoin now. Even if this 4-hour cross down, I think you're just going to retest something like 95K and then end up turning back up. But we'll see. It could dictate itself as a lower high. And so you want to be aware that this is risky, risky, risky. And then if you see support there, hey, that's when we go, ooh, we like that. So Bitcoin, very interesting. I know a lot of people asking about Ripple. So we go check that out real quick. Ripple, remember what we talked about with Ripple was major upward move, right? Major upward move. So eventually this thing might back off and you're starting to form that daily divergence that we don't necessarily like. And you're looking at this 2-hour going, that hasn't curled down in a long time. Do you guys remember, oh shoot, what was the stock? What was the stock? It was Palantir. Do you guys remember Palantir? How we saw those divergences forever and the daily still was looking okay? Right? You got to be aware how far away you are from the 5. Like this could flash down to 2.8 and it would make total sense. And that's what most likely is going to occur. You're going to flash down to 2.85. That is the most I wouldn't say probable thing yet because that hasn't crossed. But with all this going on, you're like, hey, there's a good shot that we're going down to 2.85, 2.8, somewhere in this area right here. You could go all the way down to 2.57, right? Retest the real breakout that started this move, right? And to point that out, I just want you to see all the little divergences there. A ton of them on the RSI. Now, the 2-hour MACD doesn't have it. So this could be something a little bit brief and then we curl back up. That's awesome. You're just saying, hey, it's kind of risky right now. Because when we looked at Palantir, you're looking at Palantir and the same thing was there. Remember, you're like, this can't drop, this can't drop, this can't drop. Enough divergences started to pop up. Now that had it on the daily at the same time now. Once it showed up at the same time, bad things can happen. So I'm just saying, you're getting a ton of divergences that are starting to get to the point where it's like, this isn't even like seeing big upward moves into overbought territory anymore. So it might want to back off. Now it's backed off and it looks like, hey, I'm trying to base out. Where did it retest? Exactly where 64, right? See, right in here, the breakout. That's exactly where you went to. Like, right, you made a high, you curled down, and then you curled back up, and then you went and retested that later. So I'm pointing this out to show that XRP, Ripple on the 2-hour could see something like that, and it would make sense. Do I think that daily is going to cross down? I don't think so. I think this is a great move. I just think, hey, this might need to back off at some point. You know, where's Greg with his fibs for you for XRP? That would probably help you out. So this is just something interesting, but I would say a 2-hour pullback will come eventually. So if I was in down here, right, and now I'm looking at this up here, and I'm seeing all of that, I'm going, hey, even if I really like XRP, something I like to do with my investments is I go, okay, I trade some, I keep the rest, right? If I bought XRP anywhere down in these levels, I'm just going, okay, which part am I trading at this point? If I'm trading some of it, hey, I might take like half off the table, see that curl down, put half back in, save myself a little money there, but that's just micro level stuff. The big sell will be if this daily crosses over. Because if that daily is crossing over, oh, you can start to break through here, you can start to get down to here, you can start to go test that 200. That's what I'd be more worried about. But if I'm trading this like every single day or every week, then this would be something I'm watching out for, a two-hour pullback type of move. Where the heck's Greg at? Mrs. Bubble 130K XRP bought at 5.52. That's friggin' awesome. MSTR explaining the leverage effect of the 2x ETF and sailor behavior. Very interesting and really explain why everyone around will get hurt. Yeah, Ben, you know why I'm super critical about MSTR. If I'm being totally honest, I don't need to watch any news to know that MSTR is something very risky to probably hold for a long period of time. I think it is fine to trade, but I'm not going to sit there and hold it forever. It is not going to be a forever stock for like a Warren Buffett type thing for in my mindset. What up, Lizard? Uber? Uber and NDX, you can just mainly look at our analysis on the Qs, but we can look at NDX in a moment here. Uber, great cross up on the 2 hour, great stuff. You like to see it. And it built up to a great area to make that consolidation to head higher. So that's fantastic. I really like that actually. Means we could maybe see something like 71, but you're watching right now. That could be potential resistance. It's held as support a couple times in this area. You've used it as resistance already. So you'd really like to see this getting back above there. You start to see strength past these levels, probably get above like $70. I think you're a pretty straight shot to go up towards 71.27. But the daily's chart, it's getting up towards that center line. So you should be paying attention to 2 hour signals, and you do have potential for divergence here, right? It is formed. This is still very bullish, but you want to be aware that this could be a double top in some way or divergence with these points like this. So you're just going, hey, if that 2 hour turns down, it's bad. The daily could turn down. But hey, maybe this 30 minutes just getting going and you keep seeing retest and go higher, retest and go higher. You might just get that series of higher lows, right? You're just aware of the riskiness now. Maybe you have a weekly expected move in this area. Who knows, right? I don't have a weekly expected move for it. I like the structure so far. I'm aware now of the signal that could really mess me up if I'm in calls on this. And so if that signal confirmed, I would definitely not be in calls. But for now, you're loving calls, right? You're starting to go positive. You're starting to test the level you need to break through to get up to these levels. I think that's great. I think that's great. So we'll just see what happens. Now, Apple curling down, curling down, curling down. What did we say about Apple? We don't really like this. Now, we like the fact that we cut above this area here just barely, but it was just barely. We're looking for that quick higher low. If we don't make a quick higher low, though, you might be seeing some kind. I would say if an hourly crosses, I'm not happy. If an hourly crosses, we could shoot all the way back down to 230, yes. Yeah. Tesla, since that's one we pay attention to, we'll talk about it. Tesla, you have to be aware of the risk. This is why Patreon is such a good thing, because Tesla has a huge amount of implied volatility all the time. I know retail loves to trade Tesla, and I think that's why it has a high implied volatility all the time. You're just overpaying for options all the time. It doesn't mean you can't make money. You just have a decent bankroll there to do it. For the most part, though, it's very simple. You have a reversal signal here on the RSI, very, very tight, not too significant. So this could be a pullback in some way. But what did you have here is, I believe, a weekly expected moves there. Am I incorrect? Yeah, you have a weekly expected move where? Right in these levels, right here. You have a weekly expected move. So 68% chance to drop. This is a great move. It's great. But if you want that great move to continue, you like pullbacks. You know what pullbacks do? Allow more people to buy cheaper prices after a good move. People like that, and then they might buy it. You're just waiting to see if they actually do buy it. So what we're looking for here is, this is a great MACD for the 30-minute. We'll see if that can curl back up. But if that is curled down, it means the stock can head in the downward direction. You would say pullback until that crosses that center line. Right in here, you're going pullback, 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 pullback. Oh, wait a second, we're negative. So if this doesn't turn up right now, we're not going to be able to go into positive territory. Didn't turn up right now, and then it ended up way down here. You can see it's way down here. So that curl up probably wouldn't even been a good one. And then when it actually curled up, where is it? Negative territory with no reversal signals. And then it crossed again, dropped again. You see bigger drops for the most part. Usually on the initial drop or when you get into negative territory, when you cross that center line. So am I worried about that happening yet? No, but I'm aware that last time this never curled up. So what should I be waiting for? Tesla to curl up into positive territory, right? It's turned down right now. Keep it simple. Let's go over to the Qs. Actually, we should be paying attention to the SPY, really focusing on the reaction from the weekly expected move as of now. What is, oh, S. Yeah, we've looked at this one before, like once. I would say 2 hours what I'm mainly just waiting for here. Unfortunate, the blip that happened here, great bar, and then you got to be watching that management of the trade. Right, management of the trade is something we seriously talk about in the course. There's a whole video on it, and I was so excited after I put it out there because I was like, I just didn't realize that people would find it that helpful. And we talk about risk all the time, and then I go, oh, well, let me just share how I like to manage risk and really try to pinpoint it. It's just I had to put it into words because I just did it. I just started doing that. And it's really helped me out. So I shared that with you. If you want to use that method, hey, you can get the course down in the description. It's 90% off right now. But what I'd be paying attention to for this chart is just a 2 hour. Can that 2 hour turn up? Because the 30-minute, you look at this, it's a bunch of chop. It is. And that can convince me maybe to take a position if we take back the 5. But it might be a small position. And then I see the 2 hour confirm, right? Because this could confirm on the 30-minute and 2 hour at the same time. And then I make a bigger decision, and then I manage my trade because the management of the trade was so important right here. The management of the trade right here came in right on this bar right here, 22.44. That saves you, right? You might lose 5, 10% as long as you're, not doing an option for the next freaking day. But this here says, okay, this is bad. This can get ugly. You might go make divergences or something like that. Okay, awesome. Bam, drops down another 3 points or so. And that's where you start to lose 70%, 40, 50 to 80% on your option. So you want to manage the trade because the opportunity might just be later. And now you're seeing some signals that could say, hey, this could get bullish, but it's kind of choppy for your 30 minutes. So I'd really like the 2 hour to confirm up first. Right? Haven't bought yet because 30-minute was looking good recently. Yeah, I think I see the same thing. I would still say that's a little tight, a little choppy. So I would just say the first, so for me, when I see something that's choppy, but I still like the look, right? And actually, what was it again? It was S. Actually, we need to look at that RSI. I don't think I looked at that very well. Yeah, the RSI is looking good, and it started to cross up. So this is just for me, a lot of the time, if I'm thinking this is confusing or choppy in any way, which I do think that right now, I think it looks great, but for some reason I have a weird gut feeling about it. Maybe it's just the price action, like not looking the best. So what I want to do is just go, okay, if I'm going to do something on the 30-minute here, that's a very, very short time frame. So maybe I'll just take a smaller position here. And then if the 2 hour confirms like, hey, yeah, we're going to see positivity, I can go, okay, let me load up and maybe double my position real quick. And then I have a full position and we can see if the daily chart's able to curl up, able to reject here with potential divergence. So it could end up being a great play. And we're just building a good amount of liquidity to see some kind of move higher. What you really want to do, though, is you want to get through 23.43. You get through 24.43, you're pretty much beelining to 24.70. You do that, you're coming up towards $27. So that's how I'd really treat the trade going forward. Pay attention to those key breakdown areas, and then we see what happens. Manage the trade. That's the best thing that anyone that ever trades stocks. If someone that you're following right now is not telling you about the management of risk, you need to start asking them about it, because if they don't know about it, that's a big problem. They're probably not even a real trader. Yeah, just think about it. You have time. That's the thing. You don't have to jump into anything. You have time. That 30 minutes started to cross back down for a second there. You have time. You might be able to, something that I've done in the past, by the way, is if I see something or something is setting up, it hasn't confirmed yet, I'll just go eat a snack for 10 minutes. Go do something for 10 minutes that's not even related to the stock at all. And then come back, look at it again, look at what happened while I was gone and go, okay, that's some bullishness. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm gonna do a small position and then see if that 2 hour confirms up. If the 2 hour confirms up, I might be able to take a little bit more, maybe double that position size. You know what I mean? Just kind of take a step back. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm gonna go to use the restroom real quick and I'll be right back. 2 seconds, Turkish. Make sure if someone new comes in and they ask for the daily expected move for the SPY or the Qs or even the SPX, just point them to the bottom right corner, okay? Make sure to tell them where it's at. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, wait, let me get my headphones on. Dude, I might play some tunage real quick. Hold on, guys. Let me play some tunage. Sorry, Chad, didn't mean to take up too much time. Sorry about that. Shut the heck up, I like milk. No way, did I like milk? You knew where it was. Crazy move on Apple. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but if you're paying attention right here, it says, oh, downside, downside, downside. Maybe it's to fill a gap, right? We know that this didn't experience enough positivity, to be totally honest. This is why I was making sure to say in my video, like, I got rid of Apple and moved it into Amazon here. I just didn't like this. I was like, you know, if you always simplify it, if you always simplify things, you usually will make a better decision. Okay, so I just went, Amazon's the better look, SoFi's the better look, the Qs itself are the better look, so why am I messing around with Apple? Because I like to trade it? Does it have a good look? It doesn't have as good of a look, so let me just allocate the money I would put into Apple instead. I'll switch it over to Amazon real quick. So that's what I would say. Do I think GME is about to pop on Friday? I think that AMC and GME have a very good shot to see a good move soon, but they're going to have to give me good signals. I still think these are the shot. If you want my, okay, I'll give you my honest opinion, but we have to more pay attention to what charts look like, right? My honest opinion is this is orchestrated. This is very orchestrated. If you really look at this, you could kind of tell something fishy's happening here. One, you got tight as hell. So one thing to notice is we're outside of a weekly expect to move really fast before Friday. Very fishy. Another thing is, why the hell did this even happen? Why? Because GME had something happen, maybe? Why did GMEs happen? Nobody really can point their finger exactly at it. We know what happened. A big guy sold, and then I think retail took over. That's what I think happened. I think a big guy sold, another big guy sold, and then retail took over to push it lower. That's what I think happened. Now, that's just what I think. Does it have good structure? You have 30-minute divergence on the RSI, but do you have it on the MACD? No. So we have to be aware that that could dip down again. Same goes for AMC. Now that's starting to go positive. We're starting to maybe even confirm bigger charts up. But is that out of the woods yet? Or could you have some more time? And then you see that move. We'll find out. You need signals to be back with you. The best thing that can happen is this just curls up on a daily chart. The best thing that can happen is this 2 hour just goes positive. Right? We just see this thing start to rip. So do I think it's going to happen Monday? Man, it's just way too hard to call when this thing, even if it even does ever happen, right? The whole point is, the safest way to play a GME squeeze, if that's what you're asking about, is look for a great time to get in on the daily chart. And I'll show you the time where I got in on the daily chart. I like breakouts and I like retests. You'll probably hear me talk about retests all the time. So what is this area right here? It's a little breakout area. Right? We broke out. We saw that extend. We saw it come back down into it. We saw that retest, and I see a good green bar right there, and I go, I'm pretty confident there. I saw that 2 hour turn up, and I go, okay, everything looks good here. I like it. I'm going. I was at what, $22? After that positivity, I get excited. We break through here, I get more excited, and I'm very confident in my play. I'm still taking it early. I understand the risk. I understand the potential for rewards. And I understand, hey, we broke out of this level, so now we're very confident on the way up. Now, I didn't do options down here. Then I started to potentially take option plays throughout here, because as we're at higher levels and we see that pull back, anytime you rip up, I think you could see a good moment. So option here, still holding that option with the bad daily cross down. Then I see this. This bar right here told me do not hold the option. Hey, you can hold on to the stock if you want to, right? You have a pretty good price, but I wouldn't hold an option for calls right there. And then the next day we experienced something bad, and it's like no one heard me say that there's daily divergence here. And if the 2-hour divergence confirms, you're very likely to turn down that daily divergence. And I still held it in case this was able to turn up. But once we saw that day down, I just go, nope. We broke the low. We broke this low. If this low is broken and you're still thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to just whip back up. Man, okay. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Doesn't confirm the higher low, crosses back down through it. Now you have a low and a lower low, right? So if you break this, you go make a lower low, which means you could see a new series of lower lows. It's just that simple. You can trade this thing exactly like another stock. Really. It's like exactly the same. It sees some crazier things. But overall, I bet day traders are loving this. Like, that's what it seems like to me. I bet little weak traders, like weekly traders. Now, I'm not doing weekly trades. I'm more just like, hey, if a squeeze happens, I want to have 100 contracts. All right, right? I don't take too many contracts. Mainly, I'm playing big amounts of contracts on AMC all the time, right? I'm pretty much just like, hey, if I see a good signal at the beginning of the month, I'm taking contracts. So it's just, you're aware of the risk, right? And I'm not trying to berate anyone or be like, you're done, you thought that. It easily could have done this, but this is just warning you, hey, the higher probable move is to head down. And that's why we kept saying 285.35, 285.35, 285.35 over and over and over again. And then people are like, why is the flush happening? Well, because people decided to sell. And then retail, I think, got spooked. All right, we're starting to get that curl down for the SPY. A lot of people shouting out Apple, even though we kind of pointed that out. Hourly crosses down here. You're probably making that divergence point. Look out for a weekly expected move. Let's see. Uh-oh. Right when you hate Apple, you might love it. Let's see. We'll find out. We always find out after a little bit more price action. Why is Apple selling off so much? Because people decided to sell it just now. More people decided to sell it than buy it. Like I said, guys, I'm just not the guy who cares why something is selling off. I care about the signals. The signals told you, hey, watch out. That's still crossing almost at a 0.5. Like, I genuinely, when I used to care, I used to lose money. When I stopped caring, I started making money. That's how I work. Maybe you're different and that's cool. That's awesome. But you need to find a good way to get news then, because that's going to help you a little bit out if that's something that helps you. But I can tell you right now, me trying to find news all the time did nothing for me. I'm just saying. That's just me though. We could be totally different people, and that's the cool part about trading. You can do it in a million different ways. Maybe you're better at finding those things than I am. I don't know though. The Qs are still holding up pretty well, even though we're seeing dips down and stuff. Just a lot of confusion. You want to see confusion? Look at this 5 minute. You want to see confusion in a day? That's some confusion there. Let's go look at VIX. Okay, now it's really literally at my line in the sand. It is literally there, but look, you got 15 across. But this is a 15-minute chart. Right now it's crossed down, saying we should see positivity. See, seeing positivity. Oh, coffee? Coffee's a really good thing to pay attention to. Do you just want the contract? We'll just see. Coffee, for the most part, is great to pay attention to. Just because, like, coffee is something that everyone uses. And I want you to look at that MACD right now. So what do you think coffee's probably going to do? I think coffee's probably going to make a new high here. That's what I think. Now, how would I be wrong? Well, if this 30-minute never curls up, then technically, I'd be wrong. So since that hasn't curled up, I really shouldn't even be saying that, right? That's just what I think. I need to go with what the chart's telling me. The chart's not telling me anything yet. It's really saying, hey, if I want to get in early, this looks like it's going to make the upward move, but it's much more probable when you see the MACD as it is a later one. It's a lagging indicator. Hey, this crosses up, maybe a weekly expected move, something like that. You know what I mean? So for now, how would we be wrong in this overall move? Well, if the 4-hour could confirm back down, wouldn't you say that looks a little risky? Well, that's when you know it's risky. But coffee going up, coffee's a great thing to look at because it's just like a necessity now. So, yeah. Qs, I'll just give me the pullback, dude. This is kind of pulling back with time right now. Hasn't even crossed yet. Hasn't even crossed yet. Is Apple still dumping? See, this is what I'm saying. Right at the gap fill. Remember, you're still positive. We're still looking. Technically, the first thing we're paying attention to, higher low. You think all this selling comes in and then it buys it all back. What do you think that is? That's bullish. If you end up breaking through this level now, that's bullish. Yeah, Ben, coffee's a super interesting thing that I probably don't pay enough attention to, but coffee's really fun because people love coffee. So anytime that thing's low, it's going to go back up, like a lot of the time. Like, I want to see this chart again real quick. I want to see it on like a weekly scale here. Yeah, just look at this cross up, how it just violates the divergence completely with that support, breaks through. You don't even get a great retest. It just kept going. Curls up into positive territory, boom. It's like buy signals for this bad boy are insane. Look at this buy signal here. This is a reversal signal, weekly divergence here. This says, hey, the weekly's gonna turn up, meaning the monthly's probably gonna turn up soon. And look at the divergence on the RSI at the same time here. Wham, that is a divergence and a half. That is a divergence and a half on the MACD. Bam, to the upside. You ever want something to invest in? Hey, stuff like coffee are great to look at. And look at this. You can go to a monthly chart now and see in that area what happened. Weekly divergence led to a cross up of the MACD right here on this red bar. You don't like that one. Maybe you like this one or this one. But if you know about weekly divergence, which is something you can get by taking that full technical analysis course that's 90% off, you only got like 2 weeks left to get that for 90% off. And then you got to wait a whole year. But that would have got you in down here. Monthly signal might have got you in here. Like right at this level right there. So that means that's a difference because that goes from making, you know, you get an extra 18% before the next person's actually like fully investing. This is where it's a little riskier to buy, but you have signals that tell you a good amount of reasons for this to go up. Very, very good chart here. And look at this, it's just a monthly down by the center line. You look for weekly divergence, you're good to go. I like it a lot. Every day at 6 a.m., baby. Same thing happened in 2016. That was 2023. I don't think I have data for 16, do I? I don't have data for 16. This was different. This was more just a great higher low that pushed you through, and then you get the breakout. Seems you might have retested right away or opened there, but this right here was the last time that was good back then. But I like it. I like that a lot. Don't like this one a lot for investing, that's for sure. I don't know if you guys can tell which chart I'm on, but I don't like this one for investing right now. Trading, yeah, we can always trade it. SPY still important. I want to see what happens here. Tech support down, Capital One bank side down, and tech support down. Rough. Yeah, NDX, by the way, if you keep asking about NDX, that's fine. It's just, it's going to look a lot like the Qs. It's going to be a little different, but for the most part, it's going to look a lot like the Qs. So same structure. Okay, move to the upside. Now what are we looking for? Well, if I'm looking at NDX, if you're an NDX trader, quotes FU, if you're an NDX trader and you come to this channel, I would look at where the Qs have this line, and I'd be marking off this point right here on the NDX. It's just a little trick. right? It doesn't mean it's exact, but I would go like this, and I would go, okay, my weekly and daily expected move are somewhere around there for the day. That's what I would be, just a little trick there. So we're still paying attention to the same things. Can it extend? Or is this little 5-minute diversion here going to push that 30-minute down for a brief moment? People are towards the call side. Dollar's starting to go negative, though. There you go. So maybe we do just keep seeing some squeezing. We haven't seen a reaction from volatility yet. We did see that bounce off of the signal line, actually. Uh-oh. If that goes positive, we can see like an hourly move. How far down is the hourly? Hourly's already crossed up. You can see like an hourly reaction. And look at this. You might see the SPY test its 5 while the VIX tests the 5 as well. That'd be super cool. Super. Yeah, I don't do implied moves for I don't do expected moves every single day for IWM. The reason that I don't do daily expected moves for everything every day and stuff like that is because of who I am. I'm not a day trader. I don't really promote day trading. I don't think day trading is something easy. If you're really good at it, you can make a lot of money, but it's just 95% of people are bad at it. That's why 95% of the time you lose day trading every single day. So I don't try to really put that out there too often. The important things are weekly expected moves for the most part. The only time I really pay attention to daily expected moves are when they're by the weekly expected move a lot of the time. Or I can see that go down to this area before we get to a weekly expected move, right? So that's the only reason. The other thing is just, you know, as of this moment, I don't make the most money on YouTube, so I don't have the time that I can really put towards it at this moment. It would take me another few minutes, but for the most part, I don't like to promote day trading. If people on YouTube see it as super, super valuable, hey, that's okay. We can start to maybe show those off, but until I see that, I'm not really gonna do it. And for the most part, if you understand what we're doing here, if the Qs are at a weekly and the SPY is at a weekly, what do you think the IWM is if it's up here? If the SPY is at a daily expected move and the Qs are at a daily expected move, where do you think the IWM is? It's probably near a daily expected move if it's in the same direction. That's all I'm really talking about. So for IWM, where is the most likely area for the daily expected move to be? Probably right there, somewhere in this area right here. You know what I mean? Like, we can put it together, Goonie. And we can put it together, Sid, right? We can put that together very quickly. But if you see it as, hey, something I really, really need or something like that, okay. We can maybe look into putting that out there. Maybe we'll take a vote on it for the chat. I am not a day trader, no. No. It seems like I'm like, the thing is, when volatility's up like this, I kind of turn into one, at least someone who sells usually within, like, you know, if the move happens the next day, I'm selling it a lot of the time. I'm taking some kind of profit. If it's a good move like this, you saw me take profit like right away, right at the open, or like 20 minutes after the open. Black Friday awaits. We already had Black Friday. It was a great sale. No, I'm just kidding. You used to have it daily? No, I only showed it daily for like a week. And then people started to abuse it. I got some stupid messages, right? Oh, but the daily expected move was violated today. And it was violated 2 days ago. Yeah, daily expected moves are the most likely ones to be violated every single day. Your weekly expected moves, it just has more time, right? Anything that's smaller in time, you'll see crazier things. And so once I got that, once I started getting all these messages, people being like, these daily expected moves suck. It's like, dude, you just don't understand daily expected moves. And I'm sorry that, you know, it seems like that at the time is what really ruined it for people. And I said, I'm not doing this. I don't even want to promote day trading. So I'm not doing it. I don't think you can be a good day trader with a high probability, right? Technically, only 5% of you guys could technically be good day traders. Now, maybe we have a community that's a little bit smarter. Maybe we do have better day traders out there, and that's awesome. I love to see that. But if I'm getting new people who are new to trading to come in and then I convince them to be a day trader, I think I'm doing a disservice. But yeah, so unfortunately, someone kind of ruined that. Rigetti. Oh God, what does universal codes? You got to share it with us. You got to share it with us. On Apple, it's not that wild. It's not that wild. It's just, I'm glad that my mindset got more simple here. And I didn't, I'm so glad. The thing is, this still saw an upward move, and I was kind of like, maybe I'm wrong about Apple. Maybe it is just going to see a big amount of positivity. But I was like, it seems like it's going to be more complex. I'm just going to do Amazon, which Amazon, I don't like the state of the market here. I think something's weird. I might have to just manage my risk just to make myself more comfortable. But Apple, for the most part, said it right away this morning. You haven't taken back the 5. It just looked like the not as good of one. Nvidia was the other not as good of one. Now it's still holding a little bit more positive than Apple, but look at the hourly chart here. Right? So Apple doing this. Am I worried about this? No, I see this as a potential opportunity. I know. Where is Greg? Please have some respect for Greg. I like Greg. I think Greg, it's just he does things differently than me, and that's fine. I tell him, I'm like, dude, if you made it, I would watch it. I would genuinely watch it. I would support Greg. I just want to see what's happening on his charts. Day swing and hedge. That's probably a good way. See, everyone comes up with their own way. That's why when people are like, what do you like to use for trading? What do you like to use for this? I'm like, you got to figure that out yourself most of the time. I usually just say, if you're new, ease of entry is always usually the best thing. You can do plenty with it. You just have to learn over time. I just feel for him. Where is Greg? I hope he's okay. We hope Greg's okay, because he's been chatting a lot in here a lot lately, and we hope he's all right. He was seeing things I wasn't seeing in the chart. Well, he was saying that some fib levels were here. 30-minute MACD crossing on spot. Yeah, it's on positive bar. Give it a sec. You got 7 minutes left. You want that to be negative. Do you see this? I mean, this is getting very into it, but this would technically be indecision. So some people sold very decisively in the 30-minute, and then now the next is like, we don't know. Do we need to sell more? Do we need to sell? Do we? And then this bar will kind of dictate like, oh, okay, we break this. All right, we'll look at that 590 level. He made me bullish. I was a bear. Thoughts on how OPEX tomorrow will affect the market? I think we rally into close today and probably dip tomorrow. I'm more so leaning towards the opposite. But the thing that I don't have hope for tomorrow is good data. I really don't have too much hope, because tomorrow's data is... this will be huge, by the way. China, this will be big. But... building permits and housing starts, I just don't see us getting great data there, or at least not a great reaction to this data. I won't read into it too much right now with what I'm going to guess it would be, but I'm just saying the reason I'm skeptical that that's going to come out as good news for people is I just feel like the housing sector itself has dropped so far that you're probably not going to see that good of data. When did that begin? It began in December, so... housing market right now, I think as of this moment, you have like 51% less applications right now than a year ago. And that's a big ass number, just so you're aware. That is a big number. So what I'm more leaning towards as far as like I would like structure, if we're going to, I think we're still pretty due for that blow off top. I think if you want to blow off top, reloading here would be fantastic. If you don't reload here, then you might have more work to be done. You reload here, you head up. I think that'd be great. So I'm watching Apple very seriously, and everyone's watching it fall off a cliff, and I'm just kind of smiling over here, going, hey, I know what I'm looking for. Technically, I was always looking for a 2-hour divergence, so if that confirms for me in any way, hey, that will be my squeeze opportunity maybe. Right? Everyone's like, this is horrible. You're right. It is horrible. But there's something down here that if we made a signal by it, everything would tell me there's a reason to take the trade. So I got to see if positivity comes from that level, though. I don't want anything horrible happening. You know, on Friday. Someone came in and said Black Friday in the chat, and I'm scared now. 64 likes in the chat right now. Thank you guys for liking the stream. Really appreciate you. 7% mortgages hurt. They do. And I was just telling my brother, I was like, look, man, it's not guaranteed, obviously. These rates can keep going up. But right when your clients are now freaking out and need to lock as fast as possible, I go, it really looks like the 10 year is going to reverse. And he goes, hey, they want to lock. They're comfortable with locking. We're going to do it because we don't know where they can go. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a guarantee. And then the next day it comes down and he calls me. He's like, damn it, it did come down. And I'm like, yeah. Sorry about that, but the signals were looking like that. That plus the state of the market, it just really had a high probability. That's why we took it. That's why we took the calls here, right? Because it was a high probable thing. Wait, what did Ben say? Millions of calls being sold on Apple. Sorry, I just wanted to look here. I got a 10-hour meeting. Do me a favor and freeze the markets. Okay, Richard, we'll do that for you. Seeing a pullback for QQQ SPY soon. I would say right now you would be more saying in this area. Actually, as of right now, you're pulling back with time, right? Because you are crossing the MACD on a 30-minute chart at overbought territory, which just means that this can trail down. This can trail down while this still moves sideways. That'd be pretty bullish, I think. I think if you move sideways here, that's pretty good. It means people aren't willing to sell today. Let's go look at other indices. IWM, we don't have right levels. Flagging. Like this is just not something to worry about. I would like the retest though. The DIA is in our zone now. That's a problem. But you took out this high. That's very bullish. But you might need a retest at some point. I think you really want to see a retest. And the reason that you're pulling back with time, by the way, is because you want to retest this 5. But if you just move sideways for long enough, this 5 can catch up. There's your retest. Right? We're just watching. I'm just sitting, waiting, wishing you believe in superstition. No? Love your thoughts on Meta. We haven't looked at Meta yet. So SH33, I'm sorry about that. I just saw it at the top of my screen here. Meta doing what the market should do. Buy when there's fear, Tina. Hey, Tina, I hope you're doing good out there, okay? I hope you're doing all right. Ah, shoot. She deleted her message. Now I'm calling her out. Dang it. Sorry, Tina. I won't erase that. This is what I want the market to do. This is all the market needs to break through. It's just retest their 5s and see positivity. So I kind of like this. I like the fact that, hey, what are these areas? Well, we know that above this, hey, bad things happen. Below this, good things start to happen. Okay, awesome. Do we have big reversal signals? No. Did we get overbought? No. So maybe something I'm watching here is a 15-minute. I'm seeing if that can curl up and then just hold that move, right? I want to see it hold above 617.82. Make sure no weekly expected moves are coming into play. Those things would really help me out here. And then the daily is confirmed down. You want that daily confirmed up. That's pretty much, at this point, you're going, okay, we could not break down with the cross down. We couldn't break up with the up cross. We couldn't break down with the down cross. So you're probably getting tighter in here in some way, right? If anything, you might say this type of thing, some kind of cup and handle in some way, okay. But you're more just like, hey, if that flips back to positive, you know, what's the chance that I'm going to see 1, 2, and then 3 fake outs in like 2 weeks? Be interesting. Also, I believe we're closed on Monday, right? No, we're open on Monday. Why did I think we were closed? Oh, we are closed on Monday. Martin Luther King Day or something, right? But yeah, not a terrible chart yet. I would just be aware that this 30-minute is crossed down, but if that 15-minute curls up, you might start to see some upside there. See, we're seeing some upside. We'll see. Bro, too many, Justin. Too many. I'm just being genuine. I think it's too many. I respect Martin Luther King, but I genuinely am like, this is ridiculous. Like, we have had a closed day in the market for what, every single week except this one so far, and next week. We're like, man. Yeah, SH33, I like what it is doing. I like the behavior, be aware of risk, and weekly expected moves. Meta, I don't think it looks horrible. I just would like that daily curled back up. Dang, people really still towards that call side. Dollar did dip down, so, and the 10-year dipped down, so people like that. That's going to be bullish. Might mean we have more upside first. We might be squeezing. Oh, let's see this real quick. Actually, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, see, that never confirmed down. We're still good. AMC seeing some good upside. The only thing you're worried about here, 15-minute divergence. That's the only thing I'm really worrying about now. 362, is that an important level for me? Not really. So daily expected move will be interesting with AMC. If we see, when Wolf made that big upward move with my short sale theory that I was able to catch and make like a good percentage on, when that happened, the implied volatility the next week went up to like 400% all of a sudden. I'll be looking at that pretty closely. I'm going to start looking at the options for next week, starting tomorrow morning, just to see what's going on with those options and what's going on with the price action. Still no curl up here on the 15 for VIX, so this is leaning towards some squeezing a little bit here. Man, at some point we're gonna have to retest that 30, that 5 though. So we keep heading in the upward direction. I don't necessarily like that too much, but hey, my calls for Amazon still do. I almost did it. But we're chilling. Maybe towards 226, I'll just get out of that. Feeling pretty comfortable. All right, SPY here. DJT to a new high? Hell yeah. I got more encouraged by you, Lucas. Hey, well, just know you're taking it a little early, but hey, this is still technically could be a higher low. That's what's crazy. Isn't that crazy? I feel like that's crazy. Now, one thing to be aware of is actually you kind of need to know now why Apple is different. So what I want to do is, I don't really want to look for news on here. Oh, whoops. The heck, there's like nothing I got here. Oh, Apple China nightmare, iPhone sales plummet. It seems like that's something big. Touch ID fan. Fine. In here. Second. Apple loses ground in mainland's China's smartphone market as the Huawei and Vivo surge in 2024. So some problems with China for Apple. China gives GDP later too. Dang, this will be muy interesante. Okay. So I'm still waiting because I really want to see the signal. I want to see the signal for sure first. I just have SPY at a weekly expected move. Apple can keep dropping maybe, but maybe Apple catches a bid soon. We'll see. It's not a very good thing for Apple. Apple bad selling is like old news, pretty much. Yeah, didn't we already see some of that in like earnings reports and stuff? Well, like I said, they'll always find a reason for why it's selling. Oh wait, give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Cues. I'm gonna leave this on a 5-minute on my other charts just to watch the cues for you guys. Have Mara opinions. We had some opinions on Mara, so maybe we should discuss those for a second. Mara, great structure. Do you notice that the structure here looks so freaking good, actually? It really does. Just because you weren't able to get overbought, you see the almost flagging, you see the important level, you see the structure. God, it looks really good. Now you want to make sure Bitcoin's doing good. And you have 2-hour divergence here saying the daily can cross up. Look at the daily. Look at the daily. Mara could end up back in this zone. Like, you're talking about things that squeeze. You know, I'm just saying that's good signals. You got to be managing risk in this environment. You got to always be aware of how you can be hurt. But I love the structure here from Mara. When you're aware of how you can get hurt, right? This starts to cross that center line. This starts to cross down again. Hey, this was a little worrisome, but the 5's right there. Then you catch that 5 and you go, okay, I'm not worried anymore. Then you make sure that that's able to break up, maybe retest and break through. VIX crashing. So VIX crashing, leaning towards the squeeze then. As people are in calls, very interesting. That shift to the call side still happening. VIX is crashing through the floor now. The only thing left, as the VIX was up by more than 10% yesterday, or it was down by more than 10% yesterday. It means some kind of down day can happen in the market today or tomorrow. But as this curls down, it really looks like that 30 minutes going to go all the way down to here, then cross back up into positive territory. So that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. And I kind of dig it. That would be dope. Wonder if a big trap sets up there. But that's not a guarantee, right? Because let's blow that time frame up, actually. Sorry about that. Switching back over to the VIX. Let's blow that up and look at the daily. So this tells me, are we going to see some squeezing? I kind of want to look for... I don't want to look at Apple again. Honestly, Apple's the one that I kind of like here. I know it looks like terrible to a lot of people, but to me, I'm just going... I really want to see that dip down to lower levels for a second. God, I want that to dip down so bad. It's going to go sub 12. Yeah, I think 12.12 is still what I'm looking for, but I think you could see a little reaction maybe for a Friday dip. We'll see. But if this thing's just going to pop off and start to squeeze, you're seeing some of that. The Dow kind of a little bit lackluster, but TLT heading in the upward direction, people are going to see that as bullish. And then housing starts might actually come in what, lower? Because everyone stopped doing their housing start. I wonder if that comes in lower now. Interesting. I like it. Now we are approaching the trend line, so that's why I'm just giving it some time. I'm really gonna have to mull over this once I'm actually like, you know, focused up at the end of the day for what I want to do. 240 calls for next Friday. Weirdly enough, Apple could get to like 240 this week and it would make sense. Thoughts on Nvidia? I just think Nvidia doing its thing right now. Got to see if you get 2-hour confirmation. You do, right there. You're above the 5. That's great. Once you get 2-hour confirmation, look at the state of the 30-minute. Hey, the 30-minute getting kind of overbought. That can continue. So it might mean maybe I have one position, but just in case I see that 30-minute roll, I can maybe manage and then see if that can curl back up. You're still in this area where I think you really want to reload for just a brief moment. But 2 hours curling up. I mean, 2 hours looking good, just no reversal signals. So just be aware of lower highs throughout this if it makes some kind of move. The ultimate thing is, you know, does the daily confirm back up? That would be massive. That would be massive. So I'm just wondering if this 30-minute curls back up, I'm probably taking Apple for 2 weeks. Got some calls on Nvidia. How bullish are you on Nvidia right now? I think Apple is really showing some things. I think the market's already slightly squeezing at this moment with that drop in volatility. I think the only thing I'm aware of is we could see some kind of drop on Friday, but that could just be a small pullback, because just because you're up by 10% or you're down by 10% on volatility, it doesn't mean you have to see some massive reaction to get a down day in the market. It's more just like, okay, we could see consolidation. So I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm bearish on it. I would say that the signals are still holding on the daily scale as bearish, right? And this isn't the best bar in the world. It's a positive bar, yeah, but I would really like to see this at least happen first. I really would like to see at least this happen first before I make a decision. Once I see that, I'm going, okay, actually, I think it does have potential to get to here again. Moderna, I don't think I've ever traded it. I've looked at it plenty of times in my trading history. What I like here, daily divergence right off the bat. Daily divergence right off the bat. Do I get a 2-hour divergence hint? That's what I'm looking for, because right now the 2 hours is in such a negative trend, right? That I could still see this move up or move sideways, continue to move sideways and flag out, right? That 5's catching up. And then we see like boop, boop. But this is a negative trend. You have to be aware of that. And this is dramatically down. So what would I be doing? It's probably looking more like an investment opportunity, right? Breakout areas where, right there, you're still going to a breakout area, or breakout area, yeah, breakout area here at about 30.70. So a little bit lower if you can make some structure. Daily divergence confirms. It might mean, hey, that's a decent investment for a bit. Yeah, you see weekly no divergence. So would I want to hold that investment for, you know, a full, say, you know, 2 years? I would want to make sure monthly charts are confirming up first, but the daily is suggesting, hey, once that does curl up, if you're holding this divergence in here, there could be some reaction, maybe to go up and retest these levels towards 68. So I'll be watching it. Apparently, you know, and it's important to think about these things too. Think forward, right? There's been the scientists that came out and they said on exactly January 21st. I don't know how they were able to figure that out. They don't say how they figured that out. The only thing that they really point to is they keep saying after Trump is in office, we're going to see all of these sicknesses come back. Like right away, like January 21st, we're going to see it. So I think that that's very sketchy. My common sense is telling me do not trust those people at all, because if they know when it's coming back, that's very fishy. And the fact that it comes back the day after, it's just like, are they just going to publicize it and convince you to take another round of some vaccine for something else? I'm just sketchy on it these days. But daily signal looks all right. Who said this? Some guy that eats a bunch of McDonald's. He literally admitted that he eats terribly. He's not a healthy person at all. but he's worried about your health. Who's a scientist. One thing I'm noticing is we're running into a wall here for the Qs. Watch out in case this is a trap. This is where we had a little bit of selling this morning. No, he's not healthy at all. Trust me. I could pull up a picture of him. Actually, I don't know his name, but he was everywhere on all my stuff, so. What would be? It would be a wild move if Apple recovers of all this EOD. I would say this. I think Apple's hinting of maybe something that's going to come for the SPY and the Qs soon, but we just want to see it proven in the signals. What I just want to say is, if I wait and I'm patient and I don't try to jump in right now, trust me, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it and I'm going, damn, I want to jump in with Tina. I really do. I want to dive in that water with Tina and just go straight into Apple right now. Don't care. But I have those reasons for a trade for a reason. And so I have to see if those set up. If this wants to confirm as a higher low, awesome. I can take that and I'm confident managing my trade. But as this is still selling off and we just lost this point here, we went past the gap fill, I need to see some good recovery. Because I could more so be leaning towards being patient, seeing it do this, everyone giving up on it, and then going like that. If it did that, we have a great signal. And notice I'm using an hourly chart this time. Why? Because it looks the best. It'll probably pop up on a 2-hour, but I think the hourly chart looks nice here for Apple. So Andrew, in summary, I agree with you. I think if we keep selling off here and people get really bearish on Apple, I think that if we see some positivity there, I might be taking a bullish trade. Nice. Super credible. Yeah, I know, right? He is a guy with glasses who is overweight and has a bunch of pimples and says that he does not like salad and he eats a lot of McDonald's every single week. Or he said a very unhealthy, greasy burger and fries. He loves it. And I'm like, and you're coming to tell people about their health. I just don't, I understand. It's just the things he was saying were fishy, and then his health to back it up wasn't very good. So that's it. And that's all I am. You know, I don't know, maybe it's being a dad now. You're more skeptical of things. You kind of look at things a little bit like with a I do that when I'm out in real life, right? When I'm out IRL, I'm still oh yeah, and by the way, what I was paying attention to here, just so you're aware, was this 5-minute on my other screen. I was looking if that confirms back down, because that would kind of signal me, hey, this could potentially be a trap. Now you have that double top. So just be aware. Just be aware of what's going on. It looks squeezy for a second, and then it might just end up being a trap. This 30-minute has crossed. Just not on, I would say, not on a good confirmation, obviously. So we're looking for that good confirmation. Yeah, loss. Yeah, dude, that dude's voice, man. That dude's voice. Ugh. Good food is clutch. Don't like salad, then you don't have to eat McDonald's daily. There are plenty of healthy food. Yeah, you could have, like, you know, steak and broccoli pretty often. It's not that bad. You know? Broccoli, asparagus, freaking throw some spinach and some eggs. You know, I used to have spinach, eggs, and cottage cheese like every single morning when I was training. Yeah, Laws, it's hard. You gotta like focus when you're watching. I buy half a cow once a year. I did that one year. It was awesome. Colts, it's a clutch move. Huge flush out real quickly. Yeah, we're just looking at this. I mean, it's a 5-minute though. You got to take it with a grain of salt, but it does tell you, hey, there is potential for a little bit of weakness here. And I just think that I'm reading into it like this could happen still, right? People are really in calls right now, man, and the dollar's going positive again. So I'm seeing some rigged behavior. We're seeing volatility. Did it actually curl up on the 15-minute? Man, because that is that's rough. That's rough. Hasn't crossed yet. Actually, 15-minute for SPY. Did that cross up? That hasn't crossed up either. So it's still holding up really, really well. We have to take that into consideration. It's just, I think they were hoping people would still try to short this. That's what really fuels the short squeeze. Let me go look over here real quick. Oh, and Terrence, yeah. So I actually switched it. I noticed that I actually looked at figuring out money, which expected moves that are bigger that he likes to use. He doesn't use the yearly too often, I noticed. Like, he doesn't talk about it too much or anything. So what I was looking at was, because me and him both use weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves. I really respect the guy. I think he's fantastic. If you guys want some good info, I think he's great. You know, I'm not someone who's going to hide some other YouTuber from it. I think he's great. I think he talks about things very, very well. He has some great info that he gives out there. I watch him probably once, maybe twice a month. But he likes quarterly expected moves, so I'm going to play with the quarterly expected moves the first quarter. And then I am going to possibly put those out in the second quarter. Is that all right with you, Terrence? So technically, no, I do not have annual expected moves because I kind of was leaning more towards the quarterlies. Because I was watching him break down a quarterly video in December, and I just really liked it. Let's see, you trade cash versus futures. I don't usually take a lot of trades on the dollar. I don't take a lot of trades, and I don't really trade futures at all. No, I like my intraday price action and things like that. Why is the herd always led to the slaughter? Yeah, that's what the market's built to do. It's meant to take money away from people and put it into certain people's pockets, people that probably have more info than you, right? And people with more money are in more control. And that's just facts. Go look at Bitcoin right now. What do you think would happen to Bitcoin if the top 10 holders all decided to sell half their position today? What do you think would happen to Bitcoin? Well, it would probably experience a 40%, 30% drop in a day. It's just, once you have that amount of money and you have that amount of control, you can kind of dictate where this market wants to go. And then you just use little retail as liquidity. That's why you might have came to this channel and we think a little bit differently about things, right? Everyone sees today as, oh, the bullishness will continue. And we're like, it can, but a pullback seems pretty good for the stock at this point. Good for a lot of stocks. Energy isn't dropping. Just want to look at XLE by itself, honestly. Well, and you have no real divergence on the MACD. I think this probably even has another push left in it. Yeah, this definitely has more upside left in it. You might just back off for a moment on the 2-hour at any moment. Maybe a retest of the 5 is all you're looking for first. But thank you so much for the 449. I just think, you know, this is super bullish, and for this to just randomly crash down all of a sudden seems unlikely. You're more likely to probably see something like, oh, a rapid move up, just like that, right? We did that already. We saw the move up, test the 5, move up. Now you just do this maybe a little bit. But we could just see what happened the last time. We had very obvious 2-hour signals on both indicators at the same time, with one blip in it, meaning one fake out. Right, one fake out, then it happened again. So do we have any of that now? No. So I'd be looking for pullbacks and things like that. I love your channel. Thanks, Marshall. I appreciate it. All right, let's see here. We're getting some wicks to come in before we're able to really confirm down for possible double top. So the other thing we're looking at is a little 5-minute cup and handle there, maybe. for the Qs. Never traded the ES. I don't think I haven't traded the ES either. I just never got into it. I've always just done my thing. Got short S&P 3 a.m. Eastern time, holding stop at break even right now. It's not a bad level. I would just say you're kind of shorting a newly bullish trend. Not something I like to do, right? Once we actually dictate, hey, we're going pretty positive, I start to go, okay, I'm looking for pullbacks for more positivity, right? Here I'm more comfortable, right? Here I'm more comfortable maybe shorting, right? The trend is obviously down. I have moves maybe or areas to pay attention to here, maybe a daily expected move. But yeah, you can still short these type of things. It's kind of like fading this move, right? Pops up, fades in some way. Wolf's on the squeeze. Ah, damn, I wasn't paying attention to Wolf, but that thing was up like 30% yesterday, right? I think it was 30%. 38%. I was wrong. Daily confirming up here with potential for daily divergence. Wolf saying, uh-oh, things might look good. GME, though, still lackluster as of this moment. Look at AMC with that little 5-minute divergence in there, 15-minute divergence or whatever. Hopefully that just holds up. That'd be good. Yeah, it's just the confusion. I think just because people see two pieces of good data, they're still going to be like, I don't know. Now, most likely, big money's not confused. Big money most likely has some big orders down here, like Wall Street, you know. So big money's probably not as confused as, you know, our small money. Oh, Qs might reject. That's pretty good. Pay attention to the Qs on my other screen. I just like the SPY because the coolest part though is look at what's happening. Look where we react to. Look where we start to stall. The purple line. You guys like those weekly expected moves. Palo Alto. Again, pretty insane here. Great retest of the breakout. Breaks out, retest in the little zone here. Curls back up. Looks great. I'd be watching out for little things like this, right? Just little things to watch out for, but overall, bigger time frames curling up, bigger time frame about to curl up. You might need to reload at some point, but maybe Palo Alto V-shapes. That'd be great. So if that can V-shape, I'd just watch out for 186.19, somewhere in here. GME is frozen in time. Hey, at least the bleeding stopped. Stopped right around 28.35 too. It's not exactly on it, but good area. I mean, obviously you can see there's a ton of stuff going on in here. Matches up with this. Matches up with that too, and almost even that, so pretty good. I don't trade the SPY too often. I'm not really an indices guy too often. I really like setups like Apple's putting out, right? Like if Apple actually shows this and like shows a decent setup here, these are the type of things that I like. I just like these. But yeah, I'll look into it. I mean, anything that I think could benefit me, I'll look into, right? But I hope it's going well for you, Stacks. That's what I hope. Mine's going well, right? You know, this move, right, it's going well. We've been doing pretty damn good, right? 3 times in a month? I'll take that, my man. In the last 30 days. But you're right, if I could maybe do that in the ES instead, I might look into it. 229.72, you know what's up, right, Hattie? Hattie knows what's up. We're looking. Yeah, I've been waiting. I forgot the words. Oh yeah, I was gonna turn on tunes. God, I kind of want to... I want to hang with you guys, but I gotta help my wife out today. She's got a sad time ahead of her tomorrow, so... Make sure this isn't playing in... yeah. Now we got the tunes going, dude. So dollar rising just means there is potential that people are selling in the overall move, but it's not rising in a fashion, right? We want that to hold and keep going up while the market goes up. That would be more of a hint. But you do have high calls, right? You have a lot of calls coming in. Very bullishness. Well, a lot of people bullish, so don't think this can't keep going. But the dollar's still kind of hovering, not cutting the low. You would expect us to cut these lows if this is really going to be bullish, 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 bullish. So I'm just aware that this could fail at any moment. And this is what I'm looking at on my other screen, 5 minute. Just looking if we get like a flush down below this low. Because that would mean to me, hey, the 5 is probably very likely at this point. So I'm just paying attention. Aware how the risk of the 5 minute could just curl down and curl up. It's a 5 minute chart. Find my own clients. Yeah, you can always email me, Glory Gaming. I'm down to help you out. Oh, dude, JPY, the Japanese yields you got to be watching. I believe it's around, oh, God. Maybe, does someone have the date for the Japanese yield decision? The rate decision? They might hike rates. And that can crush us. The 10-year yield is what could cause reversal. Well, the 10-year yield is just going down. Negative trend already began here. So everything we were watching starting to play out. Okay, awesome. 23rd of January. Thank you so much, Ben, for shouting that out. Yeah, that date, I'd really be watching. That can affect U.S. markets. It might not affect it right away, though. That's the thing. It might not affect it right away. Think we get to 6K on SPY before any pullback? I think that's very possible as well. The thing is, a lot of what you guys are pointing out, they're all different. They're all possible at this moment. Raise interest rate again at one of the two meetings this quarter, 2.5. It's once you start getting to, what's it at right now? It's not at 1.5, is it? I guess I could look, but... There's my halo, my own antique. The West Side. Sorry, I'm listening to my Screamo music. You know what I'm saying? Majority of economists surveyed by Reuters said the most leaning towards a January. Yeah, it'll be rough. That can cause problems, but it doesn't have to cause problems right away. It could take multiple raises. Rage Against the Machine? Not just yet. Right now we're on that Bring Me Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon. I've been listening to Mantra by Bring Me the Horizon. I just love the opening drums. I need to get my drum pad back. I'm gonna learn how to drum. It's something I've always wanted to do. I can already... I don't know why, but some dude had a drum set, some military dude who went over to their house for a sec. They were like, hey, do you want to try to play? And I just started playing. He's like, oh, you play? I was like, nope. No, you want to talk to me? See, this is what I'm worried about. If Apple starts to participate, then this thing squeezes. But it's just like, you're just holding sideways. It's not a bad thing. You play guitar? I can Guitar Hero. Can't jam out yet. Give me some practice. All right. Before the truth can set you free, it'll piss you off. The next big support on Apple is at 228. If 230 breaks, 220. I mean, if you have weekly expected moves, then you're not very worried. You're just looking for a reversal, and you don't really care where it holds up. Because you would go, hey, if we violate more than that and we get rid of the divergence, then I'm not looking at Apple at all. It's just going to be a counter downward trend move. So if this would go all the way down like that, that's what happened. That's why this setup is so good. You have so much time. Now, if the RSI does it first, you would want to be watching. All right, so what you're looking for is, we have a weekly expected move there. If this starts to break, that's when I would go, oh yeah, I'm not taking the play. But look how much time it has. It would have to go down for like all Friday. So that'd have to be a big move. I'd rather just see this. Then I'd be like, yes. It's cool with me. You can do this all you want. Yas Queen. RBRK. Yeah, we can do that. Rubric. Making sense. Good stuff. See, this is what the market needs to be doing. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is what needs to happen in the market, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy about this. Now I'm just looking for, can you beat this high? Because then if you beat this high, you're not just beating this high. You're beating all of these wicks, if you can hold there. Beating all those wicks. Then you get above this, ooh, we'll see what happens. But 2 hours confirmed up, 2 hour confirms down, bad. That was probably confirmed at one moment, maybe. It's a big ass move. But look at the daily. The daily could still curl up, doesn't have reverse signals, no. And this looks like a great bar right now. This is why, I'm glad you pointed this out. This is why I want stocks to go down to that 5. It creates the opportunity for people to be able to buy. Right? So I like it. I'd just be watching if that 2 hour, right? Always be watching for how you could be hurt. Very helpful. Mantra. Well, remember, Nvidia didn't have the best signals still, right? It just had this little rejection divergence on a 30-minute. 2 hour pretty beat up. So what if Apple's just telling us what's going to happen and all of these go make hourly divergences? Well, what if Nvidia just holds up here and never crosses down? We'll see. But 30-minute crosses down, wait for the higher low. You're just looking for this to hold as a strong base. That can hold as a strong base with a higher low. That can hold as a strong base even if you cut it a little bit and you make a divergence. It's just you want to make sure you get that reaction first. You don't guess. We're not guessing. We're taking things when they have a high probability to move in a certain direction. But I'm alive. Your way, but I survived. Fuck the blueprint over you decide. I wish I could play some tunes for you guys. What do you expect Monday with Trump getting into office? You think we'll pump or dump? I think it really depends. It just depends on how stocks look. Am I going to be in plays for that moment? Maybe. Am I a little bit worried that something bad could happen? Yes. Oh, I want to show you guys a clip. Let me turn off this music real quick. Did you see I think it was one of the speakers of the White House. White House speaker. Let me see if I can find this video for you. Oh, shoot, what is it? It's White House speaker. What did he say? That was so sketchy. He said, this will be the last time you see me, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he was a White House speaker. I think he was like part of the defense, but we'll put White House. And then he said, we know that something, he's like, this will be my last one, you know, because this is our last week. He goes, but if something bad happens in the next 5 days, which that is a definite possibility. That's what he said. Let's see if I can find it. I have to type something very vague here. I don't know, maybe I could just find someone that covered it. So I just saw it and I was just like, whoa. Oh wait, maybe they covered it. Did they cover it? They usually cover a lot of stuff. Valuetainment usually covers a lot of stuff. No, not for you. Where's the video? Also, what's happening here? Okay, we're dropping. Good. Awesome. This one. Let's see if I can find the clip here. I'll just try to find the clip. Let me see if I can play this. Oh, wait, the market's dropping. Let's do that later. Let's do that later. Let's make sure we're looking at the market while it's dropping. Okay, guys? Oh, yeah, that's okay. Thanks for that, Willow. Willow's bringing us back to reality. We probably shouldn't expect too much on Monday. That's a very good point, Willow. Thank you for putting us in our place. DJT will moon. I mean, maybe. Maybe. That was a great move so far. Don't really like this. Not too much. Don't really like all this wicking, but that's a great test of the 5. Yeah, this will be interesting to see what happens next. Thanks, Willow. Willow's just here to keep me on track and tell people to like the stream. So since we sold off into it, I think it's possible. I think a lot of people are confused, bearish, all that stuff. Maybe he talks something about tariffs. Maybe he gives some kind of clarity with what he's going to do. That might help people feel a little bit better. But I'm more interested in just like, are we like this tomorrow? Like that? Because if we look like that, I'm going to say, whoa, we might be squeezing right after that. So I'll see. I'm not going to risk a bunch of money though. Yeah, so Monday's a holiday. We'll have to see about Tuesday. Dishonoring their family by not liking the stream. That's so funny because Willow, me and my wife, we say that all the time. I say that to my daughter sometimes. She'll like throw a little, foam block at me or something. I'll be like, you dishonor your father? Talked about it, but what are your thoughts on TLT nearing the top of the weekly expected move, but it's looking like a nice setup? You do get data tomorrow, but overall, you have to understand that this is seriously beat up, right? Like, for the most part for this, you were outside of, or you were towards a monthly expected move. You had the reverse signals, big gap up. Okay, we see some type of reversal here. So we're just going, I'm just like, this is bullish. If it remains bullish, I can always take profit at a weekly expected move because something's uncertain, and then I can leave runners. Right, this is pretty damn good. But we do get data tomorrow, so that could drop off and then curl back up. Now you are starting to see little blips of bad things pop up. We kind of want to go look at the yields probably on a 2-hour chart and see, okay, that's violated on the 2-hour chart for this. It's just falling off a cliff. So TLT probably looks pretty good. The ultimate signal for TLT, though, that you're waiting for is the daily, and let's see that. Bam, you got the daily to turn up. So that's great. But did you hold the divergence point across? You did. You hold the very, very last one. So very skeptical. Oops. Very skeptical that this is just going to base. But that's how you see it with yields a lot of the time. Right when people are worried about yields, remember this. This was tanking. This was tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking. And then here is where people start to talk about TLT being so bad. Here is where people start talking about yields being so high. And then it goes worse, worse, worse. People really start to talk about it. Right as they're the most fearful of it, maybe it turns around. That daily just confirmed up. So do you think I'm going to short this thing? What's my rule? This curls up on that MACD, that crosses today. I ain't shorting it. That's for sure. Oh, thank you. You need TLT to be good, by the way, for positivity to come in. The reaction is TLT is going to bottom at some point. I don't know if that's right now. It looks like it could be. But TLT is going to bottom, and then the market's going to go up because the yields are coming down. And then you're going to sit there and go, oh, yes, this is great. Yields are coming down. And then the yields are going to keep going down. And then they're going to cut more. And then they're going to cut more. And then you're going to realize, oh, they're cutting because something really sick is happening here. We're seeing delinquencies. We're seeing unemployment. We're seeing defaults on housing loans. That's the most likely area we're heading. It just, that can take up to what? What are we at now? 5 or 4 to 16 months, or 4 to 18 months from now? 4 to 16 months, something like that. So the timeline's getting squeezed now, but Yeah, I would say if I was in a trade with TLT, I'm a guy that likes to take profit if it's an option. And I would look at how far out my option is. And I would say, okay, can I leave some runners? Can I make good money and leave runners? Because this is a great move. So if I was in at these lows with the divergences, okay, awesome. Bam, I almost played this one. I probably should have. I was just focused on how I was going to treat Apple. I'm glad I made that decision. But part of it was I was looking at TLT. So one thing you need to take back is here. You could consolidate here. You could do whatever, but I'm someone who likes to take profit at weekly expected moves in some way all the time. Whether that's break even, leave the rest as runners, like sell half. Whether that's sell all of them except 2 contracts in case it keeps going up. But if I get a pullback, I'm a little bit more liquid, or I just can reapply the money I made. Those things are always good. But yeah, if you look at the times where you saw like big reactions from TLT, and then sometimes they turn right back down, right? Big move, so it can move just like everything else. Weekly expected move, treat it just like any other weekly expected move. And then if you want to leave runners, leave runners. That's all I would say. This is the first cross up. I'm not going to short this thing now. That just sounds silly to me. I'm seeing the divergence confirm over here. So that seems silly. I'm seeing the dollar confirm divergence yesterday. Though shorting with all this going on, a little rough, but I could understand waiting for pullbacks or taking profit at weekly expected moves. Does that help you? I mean, does that make sense? Are you kind of clicking something in there? Wanted to go long. Yeah, so the daily signal would say like a 6-month play might be pretty safe. A 2-month play might be pretty safe, but just note that if you're at a weekly expected move, you always want to be thinking about the pullback that could come. So a 30-minute pullback, a 2-hour pullback could come from for TLT, and you get data in the morning. Added more today. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. And if you got an early position, you're very happy with it. Someone please catch the Nvidia and Apple chart. We'll go look at those in a second. VIX starting to spike. Yeah, we're not seeing enough of a spike though. That's not really spiking. SPY's holding up too well. Q's a little bit more weak. They actually took out the low too. That's so wild. We take out the low, but we're not going to confirm. So we're going to dip down lower. And now we might be talking about little micro in here. Right now you're just getting faked out left and right, which means confusion is here, and that's fine. Retail sales is a confusing piece of data, because now you're at a point where you're like, I want the yields to come down, but I also want economic growth, right? I want these stocks to go up, so I want economic growth, but the retail sales is kind of showing me a little less, a little bit of weakness maybe in the consumer. Oh, God, you're in a confusing time. End of March, so I'm in no hurry. Exactly, Dave. See, Dave, that's the best way to do it. And then I'm just someone who likes to take little bits of profit on the way up, right? Minimize risk on the way up. That's how I think about it. And then it's like this craziness with the yields won't stop, because then towards the end of the month, we're going to get Fed interest rate decision. Like, what the hell? Going to be a lot going on. Come on, Q's, just do it. Just go do the retest thing, man. Like, we're all tired of it. Just go do it real quick. You don't have to tell anyone about it. Just go do it for us real quick. Man, IWM, though, solid little flag in there. DIA holding, so this does not look bearish to me. Apple, I want to, buddy. I want to. I freaking want to, but I'm not seeing anything here. Think about it. You gotta think about it. Nvidia, let's go look at Nvidia too, by the way. Yo, load, you... Okay. Yeah, we don't like that cross down. We're kind of hoping that's a blip, if you want bullishness. I'm done till later. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I might just make a decision at the end of the day. Why is SPY going sideways? Because you're at resistance. You're at resistance and there's a battle. So what I like to say about weekly expected moves a lot of the time is, I use it a lot for GME and AMC. I'll say it a lot with those. This is where the battle begins. This is a battle. And technically when it's at the upside, it kind of leans in the bear's favor. right, to see some kind of pullback. Just a pullback, though. It's a positive trend. So sideways is the battle. And that's how you get ranges, right? You'll see a battle, 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 battle. And then eventually, you're going to see someone win that battle. And then you'll have a direction. Right? So right now, the reason it is going sideways is because people are trying to buy, but people are also trying to sell. That's literally it. And the reason that we use weekly expected moves is to show us where that is likely to happen. Yeah, so weekly expected move, just so you're aware, that is a big zone here. This is your 68% zone. You are here on a Thursday. We're going into Friday. On Fridays where you usually want to see the crazy things happen because you have less time to expiration. So 32% chance to land out here, 68% chance to land in here. So the perfect thing to happen is for this really to dip down for the rest of like today. Or maybe, you know, they like to do things at the end of the day. And then you curl up, and by the end of Friday, you're here. Maybe that takes you outside a little bit, right? And then that would be pointing straight that way for next week. And that's like the best way this could set up for a bullish trade. That's why I really like it. Put wall at 592 as well, by the looks of it. Yeah, I didn't really look at the SPY. I did look at 590 for the SPY. Oh, I have it up right here. Looks like you have call wall starting at 595, but the big one at 598 and 600 today. So a move all the way to 600 would have been some key resistance up here. As you're getting fought and fought and fought, more people might get rid of those positions if they don't see a breakout. And 590 is really where we want to be watching for the put wall. At least that's how I see it right now. That might change intraday. We'll see. Maybe here for a while. Yeah, this may be dry. So as we're just kind of getting a little sluggish here, I do have to hop off. So I appreciate you guys being here for the live stream. I tried to give a little bit of extra time today. We will be putting out daily expected moves on Patreon. And if you need to understand how we really utilize any of these expected moves, we do have the course down in the description. It's 90% off. All right, $100. You can take the full technical analysis course and totally have a different outlook after Martin Luther King Day, right? So very, very good. But we just want to be monitoring what's happening here, managing our risk. What is your plan for the day is what I've been really saying over on Patreon when we posted the daily expected moves for today. We just said, hey, pay attention because you need to have a plan for if it goes right or if it goes wrong. Right now, you're moving sideways. You haven't really seen, hey, is this going right or wrong? But your MACD is telling you a pullback seems to be pretty likely. That could be a pullback with time until this 5-day can catch up. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, the donations that came in today, asking to look at some stocks. You guys know that is awesome. Even someone donating so Short Fridays can get Nike looked at for a second. So I think that's a lot of fun. And I'm sure Short Fridays, thanks you, Justin, for that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Just keep in mind at all times, trade like water, guys. Trade like water is the best thing I can do. To really give, you know, some form of advice from an old trader here. It's just like, hey, if I trade like water, if I pay attention to how I can get hurt and I react, if I can pay attention to how I can really make money, maybe where I need to actually hit the sell button to make that money, I can react. And that's how I want to do things. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day. Peace out.